for the duration. I'm Becky Gotch, as we are giving our full names, but I tend to use Becky Gotch for writing for obvious reasons. The number one concern being that if I use my full name, it probably wouldn't fit on the spine of a book. And before I talk about the piece that I am going to be reading, which is the beginning of a short story called The Colour of Sky and Rain, I want to go off on a bit of a tangent. One of the big passions in my life is going to British professional wrestling events. And one of the wrestlers that he's one of my favourites is a guy who calls himself Jack Sexsmith. I am currently wearing one of his shirts right now because I'm nothing if not a dedicated fan. The reason that I bring him up is that wrestling tends to be quite a sort of hyper-masculine environment, but Jack, in both character and in his real life, is pansexual, which I won't go into a long explanation, but it's basically kind of like bisexual but different. And the thing is, when he first started, he was kind of a sort of more jokey character, but recently he started to see himself more as a representative for the LGBT community within professional wrestling. And that really inspired me, and it's made me think about what I do when I'm writing. And what I've decided is that I would like to be like him. I want to represent a particular community that I feel is underrepresented, and I want to work as a writer to give a voice to that voiceless group. And one of the groups that I think is very underrepresented in writing is people with mental health issues, of which I am one. I won't go into detail because we'll be here until next week and I'm sure you will want to go home at some point, but it means that this particular piece that I've written, I put a lot of my own personal feelings and experience into. And by doing that, I hope that it'll sort of connect with people who've had similar issues and help them feel understood. Which brings me neatly to the little audio file I have here, because another thing that I feel does that very well is music. I always think of it as a bit like free therapy. Whenever I'm feeling miserable, stick a sad song on, you feel a bit better. But in this particular case, I had this desire to write a story about mental health, and it just so happened that there was a song that I'd been listening to that the chorus really inspired me to want to write a story. So, maestro?
So when I'm crying alone, yeah, when I'm cold as a dime, still throw me a gun and I'll roam sex, paint me the colors of sky, rain, teach me to speak with their voices, show me the way and I'll try again.
And as I mentioned, I ended up calling the story The Colour of Sky and Rain, which, as you can tell, I just nicked that line straight out of that chorus. It's a wonderful way of naming stories. I also use it for naming my mum's scrapbooking pages. But yeah, so listening to that, I was really struck by the imagery in that, and that helped me to come up with the story that I'm going to read the beginning of to you today. So I hope you enjoy it. I don't open my eyes when I wake up these days. I don't know when I stopped, but I remember that it's something I used to do. Dreams would fade into sunlight and movement, getting out of bed at 7:30, pottering around the kitchen making toast while Mel has a shower. Now my dreams fade to darkness on the backs of my eyelids and a heart that vibrates in my chest, and toast that won't stop twitching in a desperate attempt to calm it down. And when I look at the clock, I know it could be 10, 11, maybe even noon. I reach out towards Mel's side of the bed, but my fingertips find nothing but blanket and the dent her body left in the mattress. It must be a weekday, and she'll have been gone for hours. It snowed yesterday. Was it yesterday? And the cold plays hell with her commute. She gets the train to London almost every day, spends her days working on reception in one building and her evenings mopping floors in another so we can afford to live in a tiny one-bedroom flat and pay our bills and put food on the table. We just about make ends meet. No, she just about makes ends meet. How long have I been lying here? I can't remember. It could have been 30 seconds or 30 minutes. My stomach growls. I can't remember when I last had something to eat. I should get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up. I crawl out of bed, slow. The room's too cold and every part of me seems to ache. The clock on the bedside table says it's 10:43 a.m. Shit. I promised Mel I'd try to be up before 10 today. I promised. Out into the hall, bare feet on wood. The post is lying on the front doormat still. Mel normally brings it in before she leaves, but the weather said otherwise. 4 envelopes. I should pick them up and take them through for her. That's helping, isn't it? And maybe it will be here. It could be, right? I bend down and scoop up the envelopes. 4 of them. Please let it be here. Oh God, let it be here. Please, please. 2 generic to the homeowner circulars. 1 boring brown envelope postmarked in Scotland and addressed to Melissa James. Probably a bank statement with too much in the outgoing and not enough coming in. And finally, a small white envelope addressed to Miss Lily Bishop. It's for me. Could this be it? There's a lump in my throat that I can barely swallow around. My arms feel heavy, and my heart is fluttering faster than a hummingbird. I don't open it. Not here. 5 steps to the other end of the hall, through the door into the living room, come kitchen, come dining room. I drop the 3 other letters on the counter and forget that they exist. Nothing matters except this letter between my sweating fingers. Nothing exists except this crisp white envelope. So light, so light. Please let it be good news. Oh God, please. I sit down on the sofa cross-legged. I take a deep breath. I peel open the envelope. A single sheet of paper. Pull it out, hands shaking. Unfold it. Application unsuccessful. And now, just to leave you on a slightly happier note, as that is a bit of a downer, I happen to notice that I have a tendency, whenever I'm writing a short story, to default to writing about a lesbian relationship, and I have this real tendency to write characters called Mel as well. So if I end up getting married to a girl called Mel at some point, I totally called it. Thank you very much.